Yes, I indeed changed my setup. Wow, crazy. Now the background looks different. Look at this. I put my Hearthstone stuff for Demon Hunter that I got for free. On top of that shelf, I put some red, some yellow, some blue. I color-coded stuff. Bookshelf, extra row of now blue books. I put an effort. Took 11 hours. I even painted all my walls black. And why? I don't know. Midlife crisis maybe. Because today we're going to talk about things that I like about Hearthstone, things that I love about the game, and why I still play it. So obviously, I make videos about the game, so I kinda have to play it. But there are multiple other reasons why even today, I played it off stream. Mainly to finish my quest before the new system gets in place, and I don't know if my current quests are going to get replaced or not. But also because, you know, I wanted to have some fun. I made a list for myself of a bunch of things, I think like 6 or 7, maybe more, probably less, that keep me playing, that keep me, as a long-term player, still interested in Hearthstone. Keep in mind, on EU I have like 14,000 something wins, and on America like 5,000 something, and even more losses. And I'm still playing the game pretty much daily. And I made a video about a week or two ago about things I did not like about the game, which I expressed with the nice word hate, and it was mainly about the game being a little bit expensive. Just to complete that video series, I guess, we gotta end up in a nice way. And that is by talking about the things that I do like. Now before I change my setup and move my room around though, I had a message, and that was about your Hearthstone cards. And the best way to protect your cards is with your wallet. This video is brought to you by the Rich Wallet. It's light, it's sleek, it fits perfectly into your front pocket, and has a much more modern look to it than old wallets. It can hold up to 12 cards, comes in a ton of different styles and designs, and can last a whole life. Like it literally comes with a lifetime warranty. While I do like it a lot, 40,000 5-star reviews say more than I ever could. So if you're interested in getting a Rich Wallet for yourself or maybe for somebody else, there's an upcoming Christmas holiday, make sure to click the link down below and use code Solem, that's me, for 10% off as well as free worldwide shipping. Thanks again for the Rich Wallet for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to it. What a smooth transition. Now let's talk about the things that I do like about Hearthstone. The game is smooth, it looks good. When you drag cards around, it actually feels how you think it should feel like, if that makes sense. It's like when you control a character in a game, or you move a vehicle, like left and right. It feels right. And when you drag cards around, it feels like you're playing them. Comparing that to any of the other games, like let's say Runeterra, Gwent, Yu-Gi-Oh! All the online variations those games have, the PC adaptations for the original game, they don't feel that good. They don't feel smooth. They usually just you click a card and it moves to the position, instead of you dragging stuff around. While I would say it is the #1 game when it comes to the feeling, it's also the best game when it comes to how the cards look like. And by that I mean, the artwork is great. To be fair, Magic has really good artwork as well, but some of the Hearthstone cards, mwah, chef's kiss. And for me, a quite invested player, as some might say, I like another part about the game a lot, and that is golden cards. Now, golden cards are expensive, and they don't have any benefit, they just move. They're just pictures and they move around. Sometimes a lot, and sometimes not at all. I think I bring this up every time I talk about golden cards, but Chevalier should look different. That is the cover card of Rusticon, terrible expansion, and the animation should be a little bit more powerful than, I don't know, glare on the shoulder. But usually when you have those golden cards in your hand and every single thing is moving around, it actually feels like a virtual card game. It feels like something that is not possible in real life yet, until we have like AR implemented and like different glasses that can see multiple things. But usually you just have colorful cards of different rarities. For example, I bought myself a Honchkrow in Rainbow Rare for Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean Pokemon. There might be a little hologram and you can like, you know, reflect the card left and right, but it isn't moving. Then I like the overall balance. I know that some cards can be really broken, and I mean unfairly broken, like let's say Zephrys for example, when the card thinks correctly and the opponent just magically top decks that and magically has the perfect card to the current situation on the board. But overall, I think the game is fairly balanced across all 10 classes. Now I know, some things are just better than others. For example, if you have Elven Archer or you have something like a Penflinger, why would you play the Elven Archer if Penflinger is the same card, just better? There is not really a reason to it. But right now, at least it's not as bad as to make classes completely unplayable. At least in Wild. Not too sure about Standard. I know like Soul Fragment Demon Hunter is like really good. You can be like, let's heal and deal damage and stuff. So if you were to play Wild, at least there, every single class has multiple viable decks. But like 80% of them just go face and play aggressive. You can also play really slow and control heavy decks. For example, earlier I played Reno Mage. Wanted to finish a couple quests, and I faced somebody who played Undertaker in Druid. I played my game at around Diamond 8 or Diamond 7. I'm still not Diamond 5 because I didn't play that much. But it was fun to encounter a Druid deck that is control heavy and slow, but ran different cards than you usually see. And they almost won, but I had the better random, which is the next upset about this game. With the golden card example, which is only possible virtual, the random part is also kind of only possible in a virtual game. You could roll something like a 20-sided die, but I like the autofocus so much. But they can only give you a random example out of those 20 numbers of whatever the number would refer to in the game you're playing. But in Hearthstone, if you have something like a Piloted Shredder or like a Sky Golem or anything else that is random and summon stuff, you can get any card in the entire game. In Yu-Gi-Oh! When you have to summon a card, something like a random thing, it's usually a token. For example, if you drop Nibiru, the giant rock, it makes like a giant token for your opponent, which is just a great card, but it has stats, attack and defense. Based on, I don't really know the effect, it just destroys stuff and things. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! And then you have that, but in Hearthstone, you have actual pictures, you have cards, you have multiple random outcomes. Random is usually one of the things you can complain if you play to win, but if you play to have fun, which I do, I like the random part a lot. So if I don't try to rank up and go for Legend or rank 5, and I really just play my cards to have fun, I usually include cards like Cabal Curia, one of my favorite cards ever, as I can discover even Death Knights. I play things like Nomferatu, I play Twisted Knowledge. I just want to get random things and random cards, so I not just get value from them, but also have a different game experience from game to game. I might know that against an aggressive deck, I just play Reno and win, or clear the board, but I can also play Nomferatu, discard their, let's say, Quartermaster in Odd Paladin, and then I play Twisted Knowledge, discover something like Defile, and still win. Because random. And then you have a quite good experience with the game, if you don't take it too seriously. Like most things in life, I would say. Now, while I mentioned Nibiru a minute ago, you see a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. Here are a couple other cards. Look how long the effect is. The first sentence is longer than most Hearthstone cards from the past 6 years, which is the next giant upside about Hearthstone. If you look at a card, you don't have to think a lot to make the card work, even if it's something like a new card like the Warlock card, which changes the mana cost and the attack of all minions in your deck. So your Malygos could be a 4-mana 9/12 with spell damage +5, which can be really broken, might be a game-winning combo soon, but you can already see that and you just have to read like 7 words. Hearthstone makes it so easy to understand the cards. Well, I did point out a bunch of different inconsistencies in the game, mainly referring to card text. For example, that the curator reads like that, but an upcoming card has that text, so it is missing the last 3 words on the curator. You look at it, you get it, and that's great. Now, I'm pretty sure this is not exclusive to Hearthstone. If you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic or any other game, you can just think, hey, if I want to do the following combo in a deck, which cards do I need? That's just how card games work. But it seems a lot easier, at least for me, in Hearthstone. But I would imagine, just because it has less words, and 10 different classes, it's a lot easier to think about how to make X thing work than, let's say, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where we have like 10,000 plus cards. Next is something that can be considered an upside depending on your own playstyle. Might also be a downside if you like to play the game a little bit differently. Now, I got my Yu-Gi-Oh! Background in real life and, you know, like right there in that shelf because, yeah, didn't know what to put there. And when you build a deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! You have to have between 40 and 60 cards. In Hearthstone, you're limited to 30, which is great if you want to play fast games, but also bad if you would like to play control-heavy games, or maybe would put in like 40 cards that you enjoy playing. But overall, I would say 30 is a great limit, as it allows you to only do so much in a deck before it runs out of stuff to do. Unless you play like Deadman Sand Warrior, or maybe like Jade Idol in Druid, then you have infinite cards. But also against that, you can play like Skulking Guys to counter things, which is the next point. Every single deck has a counter. Every single deck can be countered in some way. So even if something is too broken, at least in Wild, you can always find something that destroys that style of gameplay. Like, let's say my opponent plays Dark Glare Warlock. They like to play a bunch of things for free. Flesh Giant costs 0 mana because Wild things cost mana, and you can't seem to do anything against them. Well, you play Nova and Doomsday and then you win. You face a combo, let's say Aviana, Kun and Torquaggle or Malygos. Well, we have a card called Dirty Rat. Your opponent plays spells. No, they don't, you have Counterspell. Next, to me personally, I really enjoyed the adventures and the heroic modes that we have. For example, Galakrond's Awakening, I think that was great. We played against 24 different bosses, different difficulties, and we dropped our cards over and over, which for me was pretty much just Mechathune. But still, I like those encounters a lot. NPC battles are great. Downside is, the cards you draw are random and the cards the opponent draws are random in most cases, so it can get really frustrating. And let's be honest here, the Book of Heroes with Raxa and Jaina was not the best game mode we ever had, but it's free. I felt, even back when I didn't really spend money on the game, that every single encounter is somewhat doable if you have the right strategy. So it felt challenging enough that I keep on playing, but not too hard that I stopped playing and ended up just never doing it. I finished every single heroic adventure within like a week or 2 when they got released, and I had a lot of fun in there. I think the atmosphere, the music that is played in the background, and the sound effects are on point. Now, to be fair, I have the entire game on mute because I listen to them over and over, but when I edit my videos and I listen to the sound effects, I feel like immersed in the game. I would say almost every single voice line actually makes sense, and sometimes you have good memes. Saturday Night Shanking, how long can this go on? You play Penflinger and then the entire chat spams, hey loser. What do you think about when you see Ragnaros? Probably... So to the voice actors who made that, Good job. What is a big upset for me as well, I can always think back to the good old days of Hearthstone, which might perhaps come back with duels. And if not, we at least have memories. Some of my best memories from watching Hearthstone, which was always on Twitch, where we also stream, was when I watched Dragfall and Reynard, Amas, Forsen, all of the big streamers back then, play the game, have conversations, just enjoy playing a card game. Parveling Book against Amnesiac. Some of the people that are dedicated to one class, for example, there's Fibonacci who only plays Control Warrior. There was Laughing who only played Freeze Mage. You have like a class and somebody who's an expert in that, who knows exactly what to do and how to play it. And lastly, a point that I think I never heard from somebody else before when it came to card game design and the overall feeling, and that is the numbers. The numbers in Hearthstone make sense. You have up to 10 mana crystals. 10 is a feasible number. We have 10 of those. What is the biggest minion you can summon? The Ancient one. It has 30 attack. How much health does somebody has? 30. Maybe you play Infinite Armor Druid. Your Infinite stands for 2500. Maybe you want to do an OTK and deal a lot of damage. How much is that? 30, 60, 100? The numbers make sense. I think like 4 or 5 years ago, there was a video by Sodapoppin when he played World of Warcraft, and he made a video about changes or updates he would like to have in the game. And I think the biggest complaint in the video was about numbers.
The numbers are absurd. Way too big. You cannot have that in the game. That needs to be fixed. Do something. Do something. I don't care what you do. Fix it.
If you ever played like idle games or incremental games like, let's say, Cookie Clicker, you know you start out by clicking once and you get 1 cookie. And then you automate that. You get 0.1 every second, then you get 2 every second, then you get 10. And eventually, you get 200 billion a second. And then if you look at the beginning numbers and the numbers you have later on, they're just way too big. But in Hearthstone, they stay consistent. If you see a 1 mana 2/2, you know that is a good card for 1 mana. If you see a 1 mana 1/1, it better has a good effect or you won't play it. And if it is a 1 mana 1/2 with a good effect, the card is really good. And if you have something you like about the game as well that I didn't even mention, let me know. And one last thing. So Blizzard released this one great post where they said that on the 12th to the 16th, we get stuff for free. We either get gifted subs for free if we watch Twitch streams, or you get a mega bundle. 400 being distributed through content creators and 100 on Reddit. Well, as you might see based on this content that I create right here, I might be, perhaps, as rumors say, one of those content creators that maybe got a bunch of mega bundles that I can give away to you guys, maybe for free, perhaps. So if you would like to stay up to date with that, maybe here's a hint as where you can see and have the chance of getting stuff for free. Yeah, I can't confirm anything obviously, but that's like a big hint from my side. That being said, wanna like the video? Wanna maybe subscribe? Oh, whatever. Have a good day, let me know stuff in the comments and just take care.